Hello, hello. My name is Tyler, and I have just been getting ready for my next build here, just collecting some dirt. I don't know how to walk in this view. I have a few goals today, but one of them, you can see I was just preparing for behind me. The big goal of today is to finish this block here. So in my city tour video, I went around the whole city and showed you all of the unfinished projects. So we're gonna try to fix that today a little bit. I'm going to finish the interior of this building here, the apartments, is mostly finished. They're decorated enough, and they're just like decorative apartments. The tough shop it's not really decorated. I wouldn't call this decorated, but it's at least set up enough that it's not going to be the priority to finish. The florist shop here needs a lot of love. There is, it's not really done. So I'm going to decorate this a little bit. The apartments upstairs are also not done at all. So I'm going to give these some little, not super detailed interiors, but detailed enough that you can walk in and say, oh yeah, this is an apartment. Now that it's dark and spooky, you can see the cat over there. I am going to keep watching this tutorial to see how I place in the Lightmatica schematic, is that what it's called? And hopefully get the list of blocks that I'm going to need to build it, because I know I have quite a few blocks already on hand, but I know there's some like resin and some other ones I'm sure that I will need to go get. I will see you once I have an idea of what blocks I need to go collect. The item that we need the most of is beehives, which is very unfortunate because I don't have a bee farm. Do I want to set up a bee farm? No. But one of the fun things about this server is some of my friends have shops that they can sell things. Before I do that, let me see if I have any bee shop or beehives before I give them all of my emeralds. I have 5. So I don't have many. But let's see, we'll take the train over because I think I might have some honeycomb and I might have some beehives over there in the florist shop. So let's get on the train, take it over, and we'll see how many beehives I have. I certainly don't have 319, which is how many I need, but I might make a little bit of a dent, more than 5. Well, it turned out I didn't have any more honeycomb. So I had to take the train over to my friend's city to buy some from their shop. Here, so let's see. Honeycomb. I basically need all of this. So. Wow, this materials gathering takes a long time. It's always so much faster in YouTube videos when they do a montage. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Luckily, a lot of the materials that I need for this build aren't super difficult to get. It's just a bit of a grind to get them all gathered up. I started off here trading with some mason villagers. I needed a bunch of yellow terracotta, some quartz, a bunch of things. So don't mind the tight quarters they're in at the moment with the saws there, the stone cutters just on the floor. They're fine, they love it. Eventually I am going to build them like a shop or a trading hall of sorts, so they will have a nicer home soon, but this works for now. Next I needed a lot of oak wood, so I chopped down some of these trees that were just here in my city. I am slowly just deforesting and taking away all of the trees just around the city. I know I want to build stuff here in the future anyway, so I may as well clear the trees when I need the wood. But it does make it look a little barren at the moment. Eventually, and that's the keyword, eventually, who knows how long it'll take, but there will be buildings here at some point, so it won't be a wasteland forever. And then finally, I just had to spend a bunch of time digging through my mess of shulker boxes, trying to find and put together everything else that I need. All right, we are nearly ready to build. If we take a look at the materials list, you will notice the last two materials that I don't have are both resin, which is unfortunate because I don't have any resin. I still have not been to a pale oak garden? I haven't been to the place where you can get resin in survival yet. I did a little bit when it first came out in like a single player creative world just to see it, but I have not braved the trip there yet. Luckily, I do know where there is one, and it is unfortunately not close. I did a little bit of cheating and looked at a map to see where the closest one is. So we're gonna fly there. The closest one is very small, so we might not even get any creaking hearts. Is that what they're called? My plan is, I think, to bring creaking hearts home and set up a mini little like manual farm here. I don't think I want to deal with collecting all the resin there, but we'll see. Let's get ready to go. So I do have to fly a little ways, but that's fine. I don't think I really need anything else, so we'll see. But let's go take a hopefully quick flight down. It's a little bit more west. It's like southwest. Here we go. I haven't even seen okay, there's the dark oak forest. So just past that, here it is. Okay. So we just start tearing down the trees, I guess. And indeed I did. I spent like an hour of real human time clearing out this entire pale oak forest, only for there to be 0 creaking hearts. So I had to leave this mess behind and fly to the next closest one, which was like thousands of blocks away. But where is the pale? There it is, menacingly on the top of this cliff. Holy, oh, it's on fire. Maybe the fire helped reveal. Oh my god. Okay, keep your eyes peeled. Do we see any creaking hearts? I don't. I don't know if they can burn, so maybe this is pointless. But this is as good a place as any to start, so let's see. It doesn't appear that this tree has one. So let's keep looking. Oh my god, finally. Make sure. Soak touch, yes. Where'd it go? Give it to me. Creaking heart, finally. Okay. I found one. So that's enough. I'm gonna keep going a little bit longer. see if I get lucky and find 2 before it gets dark. When it gets dark, then I'm gonna call it and head home. That was a successful trip to get Creaking Hearts. So I'm going to take the long journey back home, and I'll see you when we get there. All right, I've made this little contraption here and set up this little thing to have something for the resin to attach to so I could break it off. So now we just have to wait until dark. Here you will be able to see that I learned resin doesn't actually stick to the hay bales. I don't know if it can only stick to pale oak logs specifically, or just wood types, or if hay is specifically one that they can't. Who knows? So it was pointless to set all those up, but luckily I was able to collect enough resin for the build that I need just with the blocks there, and you can see the golem in the background attacking. I don't think it actually set off any resin though. It doesn't look like there's any particles, which is unfortunate, but I was able to collect all that I need. All right, so I have been working on this building for quite a while, and I could keep working on it even longer, but I've decided it is done enough. So this is my sign shop. Gorgeous sunset lighting here. You can see the ghast kind of in the background. I had a little segment of the video that I was going to include of me going to the Nether and finding a Soul Sand Valley and finding the dried ghast and bringing it back, and it was just so boring. I literally just went to the Nether, picked up like 4 of them in the first Soul Sand Valley I found, came back and watched it hydrate in a puddle of water. So it was not that exciting or fun, and I also didn't really use the ghast that much. I find that they're not that useful. There's another one over there. I just have them flying around just to like have something fun going on in the sky. Just, you know, just having them there is cool. It adds a lot of life to the build, I think, to the city rather. But actually using them, they fly way too high up. I just feel like they're not, I feel like they need work. I feel like the potential is really cool, but I just don't think they're ready yet. So, love having them. Love that it wasn't too difficult to get them. There's a purple one, and then I have one more flying around. Can we see it? It should be over there somewhere behind those buildings. Oh no, that's a golem. Oh, there it is. So I have 3 of them just flying around the city. But let's take a nap so we can see the new build in the daylight. Kick this person out. All right, so we still have some gorgeous sunrise lighting here for the new build. So this is a sign shop. Essentially, it's just a place that I'm going to store all my signs. I use signs quite a bit. As you'll see, I have them around for street signs, for business signs just for like decoration. So I use signs a lot, and I wanted a place to store them because I was overflowing my one shulker for all the signs that I had. So now that we have hanging signs and regular signs and all these different wood variants, I had way too many signs. But you'll see the building is loosely based off of a building in San Francisco. I love San Francisco and their architecture. So this is loosely based off of a building there, very loosely, but we got the kind of sign here. We got some overgrown. We'll see the roof later. You can see there's some like citrus trees growing up there. So let's get started looking at the build. The exterior here, I didn't really know what to do. I just put a bunch of signs as like displays of what they sell, I guess, kind of. I don't know. I don't love this. Eventually I want to fix this up, I think. Make it a little bit more exciting. But that's for another time. I also call it Sam Signs. I don't know who Sam is. I just wanted the alliteration. And that was the first S name that came to mind when I was writing that sign. So on the first floor, you see I've barely done an interior here. I've just thrown some random stuff around just very lightly. But this is what it's gonna be. There's a spot here for jungle spruce. So each wood type, each type that there is a sign for, I have. Eventually, this is just my shulker box. This is the shulker box that I had earlier with all my signs in it, and obviously I filled it up. They only stacked to 16, so this was overflowing anyway. But eventually I want to have, in the next update, I'm going to have this be like a copper chest with a copper golem, so I can, if I have a bunch of signs in my inventory, I can just drop them off here and then the golem can just sort them. I think that'll be really cool. So this is the first floor, just regular signs. Oops, and I closed that. So then you go up to this grand staircase up to the second floor, and here's where all my hanging signs are. Hanging signs. So same layout, the colors on the same spot. I have the lightest wood to the darkest, and then the colorful ones over here. This is just where the hanging signs are. Just a tiny bit of decoration. Up here I have like a painting and like a couple of plants. I really need to get better at interiors, but also I didn't want to spend any more time on this. I've spent so much time on this video, it needs to be just done. And then the city, I feel like, is always going to be a work in progress. I keep changing things. I'm changing right now. I'm working on changing one of the original buildings and modifying it and making it look a little nicer. So I feel like that's the vibe that I'm going to have for the entire city, is get something done enough, and then later when I don't know what to do or don't know what to work on, I'll fix up and improve and renovate and do whatever. So like a real city, it's going to be constantly changing and evolving, and that's kind of interesting. So if we go up to the third floor, this is where I have dye, glow ink, and honeycomb. So this is like, I want to have a lot of these things. I want to have multiple locations for them so that no matter where I am in the city, if I need dye for something, there's some storage of it somewhere. So this is like the northern end of the city. I'm going to have another dye storage kind of in the center, and then another one in the south. I want to have that for a lot of things that have like multiple uses. So if it's just something like signs, like I'll have one spot for signs. But dyes, I could dye wool, I could dye text, I could dye, I don't know what else I could dye, terracotta, you know, I could dye a lot of things. So I'm going to have multiple dyes. So that's kind of why this is here. It's not really, it's not the only place that there's going to be dye. I'm going to have like multiple dye shops. That was a long explanation for something that doesn't really matter. But here I have the cool colors: brown, black, gray, white, warm colors. Here I would have wax, but I don't have any. So I need to start a bee farm to have some wax here to wax signs, and then glow ink to make signs glow. So now if you go up to the roof, it's raining. This is kind of open, which isn't the most realistic for real life human world. But this is Minecraft, so it doesn't really matter. Like, this rain isn't really going to damage anything or cause a slipping hazard. So it's fine. But up here is just a little rooftop area. There's a little kind of, I don't know what this would be called, but a little area to sit and enjoy the citrus trees. I have a little station here where they're like maybe trimming them, and I don't know what these candles, I imagine they're like bottles of something, but I don't know what you would have bottles of. I don't know, just a decoration. Some cactus flowers, and then some of the dried leaf litter. So there's like little citrus trees. So yeah, that's really all that's about that. And then if you go down this little ladder, I made another little area. So this is on the roof of the florist building, which I'll show you the interior. I worked on those, or I worked on that as well. So I imagine the person who owns the florist shop lives in one of the apartments above, and then has this little like workshop up here where they're, you know, working on growing some citruses, and has a little station over here where they can like work on growing flowers and plants and whatever. I have a little brush. I have some, I imagine these were little bottles or cups or vases, you know, just to add a little moment. I feel like things like this give the city and the build so much life, just having little areas that are built in. So there's still like HVAC stuff and pipes and just building bits here, but then there's also like a lived in area. There's a cat that hangs out, there's some tables, there's, you know, all sorts of stuff. So I really like adding little moments. I want to have lots of these little moments that don't really affect much. Like, this isn't, there's nothing really to do here. This isn't actually useful, I guess, but just cute and adds lots of life. And then if you come over here, I just added another way to get up to here. I need to move this beacon and give it a home. Perhaps I do something on there because it's like the tallest. I don't know. Or perhaps I do something like lower, but then the beam will happen. This is a good time to note the back of the building I haven't really done anything with yet. So we can come over here. I started to plan out some streets and alleys and whatnot. The backs of all of these buildings are very bare and plain. This one I started to do a little tiny bit. This one I have like some air conditioning units there. But the back of the building, it's going to be an alleyway. There's going to be more buildings like butted up right against it. So I don't want to spend too much time there because it's not really going to be seen. And I don't know what the vibe back here is yet. It's going to be an alley, but I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. So that's why it's kind of not done. Also, the street here, there's no like texturing. It's just the bare minimum. You can see as we get closer over here, you can see I like to kind of texture and make it look kind of worn down as you're running up. So this is the apartment. We'll see that after we look at the florist shop. So this is the florist shop. It has all my flowers and plants, and I have like just a bunch of stuff outside. I feel like flower shops and plant shops are very easy to decorate because they are decorations. So you could just throw a bunch of them around and then it looks like a florist shop. Some hanging flowers, some glowberries and everything. So you come inside, and then this, I didn't really want it to grow like this, but it's fine. So this is where I have all my leaves and trees. What are these called? Saplings. So I have all the like regular green ones here, and then the other ones here. I have some moss, and this is where I used to store saplings, but now I don't. So over here, all the flowers, red, orange, yellow, blue, purple, and pink. Back here, I have spooky vibe flowers. So I have pale moss things, more pale moss in here, the blossoms, and then wither rose. I have two wither roses, one there and one there. because I've only ever killed one wither. I have 3 beacons, but I only really killed one wither myself, and then I bought the other beacons from my friends. So this is where the nether plants are going to be. Eventually I'm probably going to have other shops, so this might turn into just flowers, and then I'll have other plants somewhere else because it's a little crowded, but I kind of like it. I don't know. So this is nether. This is like white flowers. This is these type of flowers. There's some vines, the 2 tall flowers, sweet berries, glowberries. Over here is like bushes and ferns and cactuses and grasses and desert plants and all that. Here I have a little aquatic plant moment, and then back here is the ancient flowers. So that's just a flower shop. Up here is my original flower shulker box, so in case I need to get a bunch of flowers for a build somewhere, I could just load this up, bring this with me, and then have all my flowers. So that is the flower. So now the last thing, I did some work on the outside. I let some vines grow, added a little sign up there, added a light, and then just very basic stuff. But this is the apartment building. So here we have just a little couch with a plant and a light, a painting. Very, very simple. Back here again, I don't really know what I want to do with this area yet. So it's still bland and blank, to be updated later. If you go upstairs, this is the first apartment. So we come over here, there's a little kitchen area, a little table, couch. Here's a bedroom. Can have a little view. This view is not going to be great when it just looks at the back of a building eventually, but that's fine. They can enjoy the view for now. Same here, there's an AC and then gas feet. And then here I put curtains, imagining you could look directly in to the train station, into this apartment. So I would imagine they would want curtains. And then this is just a little closet, again with a window directly to the train station. Not the best layout ever for windows, I guess, but it's fine. And then you go up here, and this is just another apartment. Basically the same layout, but just slightly different vibes. This one you can really look directly into the train station. And then this bedroom here. Oh, there's a villager here. That's nice. So they are using them. That's good. And then here is the closet here. And then the last thing to see, I'll close that villager's door, is here. There's another way up to this roof here. So I imagine one of those apartments is for the florist who owns the building and the shop, and they can come up here and work on their plants. So yeah, that is basically it for this build. Now I'm gonna hop off the roof again. I love having the, what is it called? Regen beacons, because I could just jump off the roof and be totally fine. I do need to eat though, so. Oh, so that is gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this new build. I have some ideas for new videos coming up that won't take quite as long as this. This one took a very long time again, I'm sorry. I'm learning how to make videos, and it's a process. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to subscribe so you see the next one hopefully soon, that would be cool. Otherwise, my name is Tyler, and I'll see you next time.